it's Heidi Allen from the Positive People Army. How is everyone today? It is Wednesday. I'm super happy to be chatting with you today because, as you know, Wednesday is Positive Word Wednesday. And what I love about Positive Word Wednesday is I love words. And what I love even more than just words is when we put them all together and we make an incredible story. So sit back, Army, because wonderful. The Positive Word Wednesday is all about story time. So something that I have noticed just recently is in the Army, there's been a number of people that have been chatting about or reached out to me about having a hard time with setting goals, reaching them, not giving up. They're struggling with certain things in their life and they just don't know where to start and they just don't know how to get to the end of it and feel good about it. It's baby steps. I constantly talk about this in the Army. We talk about baby steps all the time, taking those small chunks, taking those baby steps to reach our goals. So there's a number of people and I'm going to tag you guys in this as well to make sure that you see this, because I wanted to tell you a story that happened a few years ago. So this particular story, so my husband owns a motorcycle and he goes out and rides all the time. It's like his favorite thing to do, his favorite thing. And so he goes out and rides pretty much every weekend, but once a year at the end of June, when it's our wedding anniversary and my birthday, so the end of June, we always take a weekend ride. So a few years ago, we decided to take this ride on the motorcycle and we went up to Ottawa. I love Ottawa. Beautiful Creative Corps founder Christine lives up in Ottawa. So we're like, let's go see Christine. Let's take the bike out. Let's go celebrate my birthday and our anniversary with Christine up in Ottawa. So we had this amazing weekend. But of course, weekends always have to come to an end. So it was time for us to head home. So when we got up in the morning, Mike checked the weather. And when he checked the weather, now Ottawa to Toronto, just to let you guys know, is about 6 hours. And on a bike, it's going to take even longer because you're going to take more rest stops and everything. Because you know what? It's like your butt gets really numb after a while. So it takes a really long time to drive from Ottawa to Toronto. So we look at the weather report and Mike says, you know, I hate to say this, Heidi, but the weather's not looking good. Like, it's not looking good. Ahead of us, we're going to be heading into some rain, and not just rain, we're heading into some rainstorms. And I was like, okay, should I be really concerned about this? And Mike's like, well, you're going to get wet. Like, I'm just going to let you know, this is going to be a very different ride from what we did driving up here, which was a beautiful sunny day when we did drive to Ottawa. So I was like, okay, well, you know what? Like, here's another adventure. I'm always up for an adventure. So we both put our rain gear on. Mike had all the gear. We put on our rain gear. We jumped on the bike. It's not raining yet. We're driving. About 30 minutes in, I can see up ahead of us, I'm talking like dark, foreboding clouds. Like the weather was in front of us, definitely in front of us. And so Mike talks to me through the speaker in my motorcycle so we can talk, our motorcycle helmet, so we can talk to each other. He says to me, Heidi, just to let you know, we are heading into that rain. It's coming, so get ready. And sure enough, 30 minutes into our ride, the rain started. So we hit the rain. Or actually, you know what I should say? The rain hit us because it was not a light rain. This is a torrential downpour that we have now hit. So of course, Mike's got to slow down. And now I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's going to take us forever to get home. So we're driving about another 30, 40 minutes. We finally pull into a rest stop. So we get into the rest stop, our rain gear is soaked, we're sitting in, you know, those rest stops, there was a Tim Hortons in there, we get a coffee, and I'm just staring out the window at Mike's bike, being drowned by the rain. And I'm sitting there and I said to Mike, oh my gosh, that was pretty brutal. And he's like, listen, I'm looking ahead, we've only got 86 kilometers to the next rest stop, 86. I'm like, okay, 86 kilometers. I can do 86 kilometers. So I said, okay, Mike, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's get back on the bike. So Mike starts chanting, we can do it. We can do it. We get back on the bike and we head out again. I gotta tell you, this is not as easy as you think driving in this rain. It's cold. The rain now is so hard when you're driving that fast. You're driving about 110, 120 kilometers. The rain feels like you're being pummeled with rocks is what it feels like. So I'm sitting there and I can start to feel myself kind of wavering. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like 86 kilometers, 86 kilometers. And then all of a sudden I hear this voice going, it's only 86 kilometers, Heidi. You can do this. And I realized this wasn't Mike talking to me. This was me. My inner Heidi, my inner voice was cheering me on. You can do this, Heidi. It's only 86 kilometers. You got this. You totally got this. Think of the other amazing things you've done in your life. You can do 86 kilometers. And sure enough, 86 kilometers we did. And we pulled in that rest stop, the next rest stop. And I got out and sitting now in that, now another Tim Hortons, I was like, okay, Mike. How long to the next rest stop? And he's like, Heidi, 87 kilometers. I said, okay, let's go out to the bike, set the odometer for me. Set that odometer for me. He's like, okay. He sets the odometer. Honest to God, 86 kilometers, 87 now, sorry. We started out again. I could feel myself like, come on, Heidi, you got this. Before I knew it, 87 kilometers had gone by like that. And now sitting back in another rest stop, now shivering. Now I'm shivering. Now the water's starting to penetrate my rain gear. I can feel it. I'm shivering. I'm cold. And I say to Mike, how far to the next rest stop? And he's like, Heidi, this is an easy one. 75 kilometers. We've got 75 to the next rest stop. I'm like, okay. 75 kilometers. We jump back on that bike. Now driving, it feels like not only is it pouring rain, I am talking wind. It felt like it was like God himself was trying to push us off that highway is what it felt like. And now shivering, I was shivering so badly and I was starting to give up. I felt it. I felt like I wanted to give up. I knew I was only 75 kilometers to that next rest stop, but I was so cold and tired from shivering. And I knew in that moment that I was just like, okay, distract yourself, get something going. You need to distract. It's only 75. So I started talking to Mike. I started talking about everything. I started talking about movies, TV shows we're watching. I'm talking about our kids. I'm reminiscing about the weekend we just had. And before I knew it, 75 kilometers had gone by. Now sitting in that rest stop, I was shivering so uncontrollably that I couldn't pick up my cup of coffee. I was so cold. And I said to Mike, Mike said to me, Heidi, we are only 70 kilometers from the next rest stop. And I said to Mike, I know we're close to home. How close till we're home? And he's like, it's 120 kilometers. And I sat there and I looked at the steam coming from my cup of coffee, and all I could think about was that bath, that hot bath I was going to get in when I got home, because I was shivering and so cold. I had never been that cold in my entire life, and wet, and you're just wet and cold and you just can't seem to get warm. And I'm looking in that cup of coffee and I don't know where it came from. And I just said, you know what? We are not stopping. We are going 120 kilometers. We are not stopping. And he said, are you sure? Are you sure you can do? I said, I'm doing it. We are doing this. We jumped back on the bike. About 10 minutes in, I hadn't said a word. I was shivering so uncontrollably. I could hardly get my chin to make a word. And Mike spoke to me through the speaker in my helmet, and he's like, are you okay back there? Are you okay? I was so cold and shivering. The only word I could get out was good. That was it. I couldn't put a sentence together. I was so cold. And Mike said, Heidi, we're only a few kilometers out from that next rest stop at the 70-kilometer mark. Are you sure you don't want to stop? I don't know where this came from, guys, but I reached so far deep inside of me. And I thought, no, we can't stop. If I stop, I'm never getting back on this bike again. I'm so cold. And so, emphatically, I yelled in my speaker in the helmet, no, don't stop. I have to tell you, the moment we passed that rest stop, I had this euphoria that came over me. It's like my second wind kicked in. I knew I was literally 40 minutes from home. 40 minutes. I needed to hold on with all my might for 40 minutes until we got home. That was it. Guess what? That 40 minutes went by like that. I knew it. I knew I could do it. I knew I could do 40 more minutes. We pulled in the driveway. Hallelujah. It was like I kissed the ground. I was like, my God, I did it. I actually did it. Guys, that was hours upon hours that I endured the rain, the cold, the shivering. I endured mind over matter that I could do this. Army members, I'm reaching out to all of you because there's so many of you right now. Nancy, for you, are one of our new Army members. You're struggling right now. You're struggling with some health issues and you don't know how to get to you feel better. I know that there's so many other people that are here. Daniel, I know you're suffering right now. And I know, Abdul, you're like, how do I get my goals? How do I set them? How do I do that? Guys, you don't set it and look at the goal. You don't set it and look at the end result. You look at bit by bit by bit, chunk by chunk, day by day, hour by hour if you have to. This is how you do this, one step at a time. That's all you got to get through. All you have to get through is that little chunk. And before you know it, you reach your destination. So, Army, I want you to get ready. Set your odometers. Set that odometer. What is your odometer? Is it an hour from now? Is it a day from now? Is it a week from now? A month from now? What is your odometer? Set your odometer. And oh my God, do what you can to just enjoy that ride because you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. So have an amazing day, everyone, and enjoy the destination when you get there. Bye, guys. Thank you for joining me for Positive Word Wednesday story time in the PPA. I absolutely love this. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining me and listening to my crazy motorcycle ride. Take care.